Hello guys, welcome back to my lessons. Today we're going to do mathematics, and the first topic that we're going to talk about is number patterns, sequences, and series. So we have different types of number patterns or sequences. We have an arithmetic sequence, we have a quadratic sequence, and then we have a geometric sequence. For series, we have an arithmetic series, and then we have a geometric series. We don't have a quadratic series. So specifically for today, we're going to focus on arithmetic sequence and series. So let's look at what is a sequence. A list of numbers in order is called a number pattern or a number sequence. For an example, numbers in order like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, that is a number sequence or a number pattern. So let's look at the following sequence: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, it is the first term. 2, the second term. 3, third term. 4, fourth term. 5, fifth term. So one term which is written as T1, second term T2, third term T3, for fourth term T4, fifth term T5. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, that is the first term which is T1, 4 T2, 6 T3, 8 T4, and then 10 T5. So how do you find out whether this is an arithmetic sequence, a quadratic sequence, or a geometric sequence? What you're going to do is you take term 2, let's use this sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You take term 2 and then you minus term 1, you find 1. Term 3 minus term 2, you're going to find 1 again. Term 4 minus term 3, you're going to find 1. Term 5 minus term 4, that is 1 again. So the difference is 1, and it is a constant difference. So a constant difference is found in an arithmetic sequence. So let's look at the sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. The second term, which is 4, minus the first term, that is 2. Third term minus second term, that is 2. 8 minus 6, that is 2. 10 minus 8, that is 2. So we see a constant difference. So it means that this is an arithmetic sequence. With quadratic and geometric, it's a different story. We'll talk about it in the next lesson. So if you find a difference, they will ask you to write the next 2 numbers. Sometimes they might say the next 3 numbers, right, in the sequence, meaning the next 2 numbers after 5, the last number that they've given you in the sequence. So what you're going to do, as you can see that they're adding 1 to the previous number to get the next number, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to add 1 to 5 to get 6. You're going to add 1 to 6 to get 7. So those are our next 2 numbers. In the sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, you add 2 to the previous number to get the next number. 2 plus 10, that is 12. 12 plus 2, that is 14. So so far you have learned how to find the difference, the constant difference in arithmetic sequence, and you have learned how to find the next terms in the sequence. So now let's look at the 2 formulas that you have to learn about. The first formula is T2 minus T1 is equals to T3 minus T2. This one is the one finding a difference. If you take T2 and then you minus T1, you're going to get the difference. That difference will be equal to T3 minus T2 because it's going to be the same number. So I'll show you how you find the difference in how this formula is going to help you. So now you're given the sequence, for an example 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, right? And 1 is term 1, and then 3 is term 2, 5 is term 3, 7 is term 4, and 9 is term 5. You will be able to get term 6, term 7, term 8 by what? By adding the difference to the previous number to get the next number. But then if they ask you to find the 100th term, how are you going to find it? Are you going to write 100 terms on your paper answer sheet? No. What you're going to do, you're going to use the general formula, which is Tn is equals to a plus open bracket 1 n minus 1 close bracket d. That is the formula that is going to help you to find any term on the sequence that you'll be given. So what do you do with the general term? You are given the sequence and then you are given the general formula, right? Which is the formula, right, for to get any term. So what you do, you substitute a, which is the first term, right? And then plus n, that is number of terms. N means number of terms, and then d means the difference. Tn, it is the actual number on the sequence. For an example, 1 and 3 and 5. Those are the actual numbers on the sequence. That is Tn. So let's say you're looking for term 2. You're going to substitute 2 on the n, and then you're going to put the difference, and then you're going to put the first term, which is a, and your Tn is going to be 3. So Tn is the actual number on the sequence. So now let's look at the sequence 1, 2, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So they say determine the difference, the constant difference or the common difference. You take T2, you minus T1, that is 3 minus 1, and you're going to get 2. To verify your answer, you're going to say T3 minus T2, that is 5 minus 3, you're still going to get a 2. So the second question says determine the next 3 terms. You're going to add 2 to the previous number to get the next number. So 2 plus 9, that is 11. 2 plus 11, that is 13. 2 plus 13, that is 15. So the answers are 13, 11, 13, and 15. The next question says determine the general formula of the above sequence. So when they're asking this question, you don't just write Tn is equals to a plus n minus 1 close bracket d. This is the formula that you're going to use on all your sequences that you're going to be given. But they want the general formula specifically for this sequence. You're going to use Tn is equals to a plus open bracket 1 minus n minus 1 close bracket d. You substitute the numbers on the sequence. A, which is the first term, it is 1, and then n minus 1, d, it is the difference. So what you're going to do, you do your math on the right hand side. You're going to say 2 multiplied by n, that is 2n, and then 2 multiplied by minus 1, that is minus 2, and then it's going to be 2n minus 2 plus 1, that is minus 1. Tn is equals to 2n minus 1. That is the general formula specifically for the sequence. So using this Tn is equals to 2n minus 1, you can use this formula to get any term that you want. For an example, if you want term 50, you can just substitute 50 on the n, and then you're going to get your answer. So the next question says determine term 25. You're going to use the formula that we've gotten. Tn is equals to 2n minus 1. You substitute 25 on the n because it's the number of terms, and then you're going to get 49. So far you have learned how to find the general formula specifically for the specific sequence that you would be given, and you've learned 2 formulas, and you've learned how to find the difference and the next 3 numbers. So let's move to this one. We're still talking about arithmetic sequence. They might give you this type of a sequence: 1 minus p, that is the first term, second term 2p minus 3, third term p plus 5, and then they would ask you to determine the value of p. How do you find it? Remember that formula that I said, it will help you. Now this is where you use the formula. T2 minus T1 is equals to T3 minus T2. You substitute T2, that is 2p minus 3 in brackets minus t1, 1 minus p in brackets is equals to t3 p plus 5 in brackets minus the t2 is 2p minus 3 in brackets. So what you do, you're going to do the math, and at the end you're going to get your p, which is 3. So far you have learned 2 formulas, you've learned how to get the difference, you've learned how to get the next 3 terms. So now let's talk about arithmetic series, right? Sequence has commas, the numbers are separated by a comma. In arithmetic series, the numbers are separated by a plus sign. That's the difference. Now when we add the terms of a sequence together, we form a series. So if you see numbers in order and then there's a plus sign in between, those numbers are added together, they are forming what we call a series. So we use the symbol as n to show the sum of the first n terms of the series, right? So they will give you a series like this, and they will ask you the sum of the series. So 2 is the first term, 4 is the second term, 6, the third term, 8, fifth term, and then 10, the fifth term, and then plus 300, that is the last term. That's how they show their last term. They write dots, and then after dots, they will write plus and then a certain number. That shows that those dots represents the numbers that are between 10 and 300. Right, 10, it is the last number. So this is called a finite series, a series that ends. It starts at 2 to 300, right? And then that's why they're able to ask you to calculate the sum of this series. So they will ask you 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10, and the numbers in between, you add them as well, and then you add a 300. But obviously we cannot write those numbers that they haven't written here. We can't write them down, right? So what are we going to do? So we also treat an arithmetic series like an arithmetic sequence. We get the difference the same way we get the difference in arithmetic sequence. 4 minus 2, that is 2. 6 minus 4, that is 2. 8 minus 6, that is 2. As you can see that here it's even numbers, hence 300 is also an even number. So the difference is 2. Now the next 2 terms, how to get the next 2 terms after 10, you add 2, that is 12. You add 2 to 12, you get 14. That's how you get the next 2 terms, the same way you get the next 2 terms in arithmetic sequence. The general formula, it's still the same, the one that is going to help you to find any term in this series. If they want the 13th term, what you're going to do, first you find the general formula specifically for this series. You're going to substitute A, which is 2. You're going to substitute D, which is 2. That is the difference. And then you're going to write your Tn. You get your general formula specifically for this series. So now they might ask you also to get the sum. Remember we talked about the sum. So you're learning a new formula now, which is the sum, and you also learned that there is a plus sign between the numbers. So the sum, it is Sn is equals to n minus 2 in brackets 2a plus n minus 1 close bracket d. So the n means the terms, the number of terms. How many numbers are in this series? 2 is the first number, 4 the second number, 6 the third number, till 300. 300 is the last term. How many are they? That is the n. How many terms are in this series? So A, it is the first term, which is 2. D, it is the difference, which is 2. We got the difference, 4 minus 2, that is 2. So when you see n, that is the number of terms that are in the series. The second formula that you can use is Sn is equals to n for the number of terms, still my n divided by 2 in brackets the first term, which is a plus I. This I means the last term. So if you're given the last term, like in this example, the last term is 300, you can use it to find the sum as long as you have the number of terms as well. So now how will you find the number of terms if you're looking for the sum? You have the last number, you have the a. How do you find the n? You used the general formula. So let's see how we use the general formula to find the n. So let's determine the sum of the first, the question says determine the sum of the first 20 terms in the series. So we don't know if the series is a finite series or an infinite series. It ends or it doesn't end. But what they're asking us is to only find the sum of the first 20 terms. So we're going to focus on the 20 terms. We're given 4 terms there. They're telling us that there are 20 terms and we need to find the term. That's the sum of those 20 terms. We're not given the last term. Hence, we cannot use that formula that has I, which is the last term. So what we're going to do, we have the a, which is 3, we have the n, which is 20, we're given in the question. We have the difference. Let's find out the difference. 7 minus 3, that is 4. 11 minus 7, that is still 4. We have our constant difference is 4. So let's write our formula as n is equals to n divided by 2, open bracket 2a plus open bracket n minus 1, close bracket d, the difference. So let's substitute terms 20, and then n, 20 terms, 20, and then a, that is the first term, 3, and then our n is 20. Remember, that is 20 minus 1, and then that's why I wrote 19 there, because there's a minus 1 there, and then d, it is 4, the difference. So you put that on your calculator, you're going to get 820. So 820 is the sum of the 20 terms in the series. So the second question says determine the sum of the series, right? We have 19 plus 22 plus 25, and they've given us the last term, which is 1 to 1. In the first question, the n, we were given the n, so we were not supposed to look for the n ourselves. So in this case, we're given the last term, we're given the first term. Obviously, we will know the difference. 22 minus 19, that is 22 minus 19, that is 3. So the difference is 3. The last term is 1 to 1. So what's remaining? It is the n. Because we're looking for the sum, we're going to use the formula that is the last term, since we're given the last term 1 to 1. And then we don't have the n. How do you find the n? I told you we use this general formula. Tn is equals to a plus open bracket n minus 1 close bracket d. And then we find the general formula specifically for the series. What we do, we substitute 19, which is the first term, on a. We substitute the 3 on d. We leave the n alone. And then what we do, where we do the math there, we're going to find Tn is equals to 3n plus 16. That is the general formula specifically for the series. Now let's go find the n, because this formula helps us to find any term, right? So we have 1 to 1, which is our last term. We want to find at which position is 1 to 1 at. So we substitute 1 to 1 at Tn, because remember, Tn is the actual the number on the actual sequence. And then it's equals to 3n plus 16. And then we do the math there, we find n, which is 35. So 1 to 1 is at position 35, term 35. So we have 35 terms in this finite series, in this series that ends. It starts at 19 term 1 to term 35. Now we have the number of terms. Let's find our sum. Sn is equals to 2n divided by 2, close bracket, open bracket, a, which is the first term, plus the last term. Substitute n, 35, we got it, divided by 2. A, it is 19, plus 1 to 1. When you put that on a calculator, it is going to give you 2,450. So you can also use the formula, that long one, Sn is equals to n divided by 2, open bracket 2a plus open bracket 1 n minus 1, close bracket d. You can use it if you want. It will still give you the same answer. So the sum of the series, let's look at this one. The sum of the series, 22 plus 28 plus 34, and is 1870. So now they've given you the sum. Sometimes I'm just showing you that sometimes they can give you the sum and ask you to find the number of terms. Here we don't have the last term. How do we see the last term? There's a plus sign in front of the last term. So here they're saying the sum of the series is, they've given you the sum. So you're just going to substitute. I'll do this when I make videos answering questions. So let's look at, we're done with the series, we're done with the sequence. So now it is possible for them to give you a sequence. Remember, a sequence, the numbers are separated by a comma, and then they might give you the last term. The arithmetic sequence and arithmetic series, we treat them the same. And if they're asking for the sum in an arithmetic sequence, you use the same steps as we do in arithmetic series. So now you're given the last term, you have the last term. You're given the first term, you have A, you have the difference. So what's remaining? You don't know the number of terms. How many terms are in the sequence? Apparently this is a finite sequence. It ends at 123. So how do you find the n? I told you use Tn is equals to A plus open bracket 1 n minus 1 close bracket d, and you find the general formula specifically for the sequence. You substitute A, which is 1, you substitute D, which is 2. If you do the math there, you're going to find Tn is equals to 2n minus 1. So what you're going to do, you substitute the last term, which is 1, 2, 3, and then is equals to 2n minus 1, and then you do the math. The n is 61. So what you do now, you have the number of terms, you have the last term, you have the first term, you have the difference. You can use either of the two formulas. Sn is equals to n divided by 2 open bracket 2a plus n minus 1 close bracket d. But the simple one is Sn is equals to n divided by 2 open brackets a plus I, which is the last term. You substitute n, you got it 61 divided by 2. A is the first term, that is 1, plus 1, 2, 3, that is the last term. And then the sum that they're asking for is 3,782. So also it is possible on a series for them to ask for the general term. Remember, in the sequence we talked about the general term. Tn is equals to A plus and n minus 1 close bracket d. So it is not always that they're going to ask for only the sum in the series, and also they can ask you for the sum in the sequence. We're just treating them the same. The difference is the plus sign, right? So they might give you the last term also in a sequence. So far you have learned how to find the general formula in the arithmetic sequence. In the series also, the general formula, you use the same formula, right? So the formula of the difference, even in a series, you use the same formula. So you've learned also how to find the sum in arithmetic series. You know how they show their last term in the arithmetic series. You know that in arithmetic sequence they can also give you the last term and ask for the sum, right? So thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. So in the next lesson I'll be doing the proof, how they found out how they got to the formula of the sum. Thank you so much.